All right, good evening. Welcome to tonight's Riverside Fire Information Update. My name is Michelle Fiddler. I'm a Public Information Officer with the Southwest Area Incident Management Team. Tonight we have updates for you from several members of our team to share information on the current fire situation. As always, our information is also available on INCIWeb. We have information there to all of our maps, photos, links to all of our cooperator agencies that we may reference tonight. We will be monitoring your questions online and try to get to those. We'll also try to address many of the questions we've received throughout the day in our presentations this evening. With that, I will go ahead and introduce our first speaker tonight, Jake Nuttall. He is an Operations Section Chief with the Southwest Area Type 1 Incident Management Team.
Evening, everybody. Jake Nuttall, Operations Section Trainee with Southwest Incident Management Team 1, here to give the operational update. Today, pretty significant day. We had a lot of clearing, drier weather, and so that gave us a lot of opportunities to be able to see exactly what's going on the ground, not only from the ground level, but also from our aviation side of things. And we'll talk to both of those. But I wanted to just orient everybody just real quick. Obviously, the Glen Avon area, Moala. We got the Colton area around this. And then, of course, Estacada up to the north and northwest. And then the Highway 26 corridor to include, coming all the way across. So that gets you kind of oriented. And then, of course, we got the Roaring River Wilderness. And so some of the significant factors today. We did see smoke throughout the whole incident on the west side, the southern side. So we did start to see some smokes pick up. No real significant fire behavior or anything like that. But what that allowed us to do is really concentrate some of our efforts in those areas to be able to make sure anything that would be a threat to the line, focus on getting all that mopped up and controlled. One other significant factor is really on this south and southwest side, we have been able to complete either hand line, dozer line, indirect and direct, right? So we've been talking about the indirect line that's not against the fire's edge. Direct line is right against the fire's edge. And so really from about in this area, which is about right where the BLM is at, all the way around to come to right here. So essentially, if we just draw it on the board, this is essentially what it looks like. So to that area, we've either got indirect line or direct line within those locations. And so now all of our crews, our engines, our equipment that is staying in place, we're going to start really securing all that edge to be able to make sure that we're, giving it the ability to not advance. One other thing I want to make sure very clear, that spot fire right there is completely lined. And what this is going to give us the latitude to do is to be able to show more containment going into tomorrow. Right over here, which is our Division Kilo area, if you guys remember the other maps, essentially, right along this edge line, working our way towards this division break right at the wilderness, we've gotten about 3/4 of the way through with our heavy equipment work to be able to really shore up that indirect lines. In addition to, we've actually got a hand line just to really checking up the fire's edge in here. And the one thing that we haven't seen is any type of fire activity through this area. Moving down through the wilderness, we are still starting to see in some of these drainages, little smokes. We're keeping an eye on those, and we're making sure that if there's a need for any type of bucket work or anything, we're going to start focusing on that. In addition to coming out of the wilderness, we are working this edge right here to be able to do all the mastication, the work from an indirect line to get that prepped and ready. Just a couple other notes. We're actually currently going to get a helicopter up. We do have a few areas in this area that are heating up on the edge, and we just want to be able to get some water on those smokes. That way it can really have that moisture throughout the night and really mitigate anything backing down into some of the deeper drainages. In addition to, we've had our air attack They've been up over the fire the majority of the day. And, through that assessment, they haven't seen anything really from a standpoint that would be a threat to any of our lines. So with that, I think that really covers it. Well, one other additional item, we did try to get some of our drones, our UAS, our drones, to be able to do some IR flights, some better mapping, things like that. That's really throughout this area, just to be able to see where exactly the fire's edge is at and everything. So that will conclude your operational update. Everybody have a good night.
Hi there, my name is Christian Cassell, National Weather Service Incident Meteorologist for the Riverside Fire. I have two main reasons for serving an incident management team at a wildfire incident. The first is to provide current and forecasted weather information for the safety of everyone involved with the wildfire incident. Second reason is to help the team provide information to them in order to come up with an effective strategy for managing the fire. So let's talk about the weather here. Here's a weather matrix. This is one of the main tools that I provide the team on a daily basis. And here's the one that I actually am creating for tomorrow's forecast. So the green here corresponds to what would be considered moderate burning conditions for this particular part of the country here. The yellow, elevated burning conditions. In red, extreme burning conditions. And of course, there's a lot more that comes into play, and Stuart can explain that, the fire behavior analyst. But let's talk about the weather. So this morning, we had some fog, a little bit of smoke out there in the valleys under an inversion. The sun came up, burned that off. And so we saw a really nice sky, really nice fall-like day out there. So sunny skies, very pleasant. And then as we go to tomorrow, expect some more fog and some smoke. Also expect a little bit more cloud cover over the fire area tomorrow. So humidities should stay similar to yesterday. So generally tomorrow we're expecting only a very benign weather day. And then Tuesday, the first day of fall, again, very similar conditions. The only difference is just a little bit stronger of a west wind compared to tomorrow. And then things get really interesting for Wednesday, Thursday, and perhaps even Friday. So then we're looking at the possibility of a strong jet stream moving off of the Pacific and over our region. It's going to bring a lot of moisture, and it's also going to bring some stronger winds. With those stronger winds, again, that's going to really bring up the humidity levels. So we're not expecting it in terms of active fire weather. With those winds, though, there will be the concern for those fire-weakened trees to be pushed over and fall over. So, and then let's talk about the rainfall. So for Wednesday and Thursday, it looks like a pretty strong front, bringing copious amounts of moisture. So I'm very confident we're going to see a wetting rain event. A little uncertain on the precipitation amounts right now, but best estimates are somewhere around 1/2 of an inch, but we could see up to up to 1 inch. And then that event will start to wind down Thursday. And then confidence is lower. There have been some suggestions that there could be a weather system on Friday. There's some models are fluctuating with that. So we'll wait and see. But the most important thing is for the next 5 days, at least, we're not going to see active fire weather conditions. So with that, that's your weather update. Have a great evening.
Good evening, Stuart Turner. I'm the fire behavior analyst for the Southwest Team 1. As a fire behavior analyst, what I do is I predict what the fire is going to do, where it's going to go, how big it's going to get, and how fast it's going to get there. And you heard from operations that we had an increase in the fire behavior around the fire today. And that's a direct result of all the abundant sunshine we received today and the lower humidities that we had out there. What that does, it dries out and preheats those fine fuels, those small little twigs, the pine needles, the leaves, the grass, that type of thing. And that increases in activity, fire behavior activity throughout the day. Fortunately, today was a very short burn window because of all the humidity, the fog we had in the morning and overnight. And then in the afternoon, the sun came out, things got active. And now as the sun starts to set, it's going to start cooling off those fuels, and we're going to see the humidity come up, and those fuel fire behavior will start to calm down. And that's going to carry on through tonight and through tomorrow morning as the humidity levels increase to where those fuels pick up so much moisture, they can't burn or slow their burning capacity. Then as the day wears on tomorrow, as the humidity decreases again, the fuel moistures will come out of those, will come down, and we'll see a little bit of activity pick up. Fortunately, we're going to see some intermittent cloud cover tomorrow, so that's going to keep the sunshine out of the picture for a lot of the day. So we're going to see a little bit more activity than we saw a couple of days ago and a little bit less than we saw today in fire behavior tomorrow. It's going to be a result of the sunshine and the lower humidity. We have to have those two lined up. So in the afternoon, we'll see that slight increase. Now, as we go back into tomorrow night, the humidity comes back up, those fuels will moisten back up, and fire behavior activity will start to lessen again in the evening and through the morning of the following day. And then as we get rain that you heard from the meteorologist coming in, we'll moisten those fine dead fuels up very nicely, and that'll keep those out of play in the fire behavior. However, the larger fuels, they don't take up the moisture as quickly as the fine dead fuels. So those will still continue to burn until we see significant rainfall on the fire. Thank you.
Thanks, Stuart. To wrap us up this evening, I'd like to introduce our incident commander for the Southwest Area Incident Management Team, Alan Sinclair.
Good evening, everybody. Alan Sinclair with Southwest Area Team Number 1. A lot of good work getting out there today. We've got crews really putting in hard work to get the lines secured around your communities. Over 700 strong, so we've got what we need, and I'm really pleased with the amount of work that's been done. I'm going to ask two favors. One is if you hear anybody think it's a good idea to fly a drone around the fire area, please let them know that if our flights are being hampered by drones, what we have to do is set all the aircraft down. So if you are flying drones, we cannot fly our aircraft. And as you heard with the clear skies, we're starting to do that, and they're very effective while we have this open window of clear air. The other thing I'm going to ask is please spread the word that we have areas that are closed, and it's for a reason. Our firefighters are working in those areas, and they're not expecting traffic. So I don't want to have folks coming into areas where they're working and have any accidents. A lot of good work being done. Really appreciate the patience. We're up in containment. I believe we're at 20% today. Should see numbers rising from what we heard from Jake. And everybody have a good evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. We'd like to thank you for joining us this evening. Again, you can find all of our updates on IncyWeb and here on social media. If we did not get to your question tonight, or you have additional ones that come up, feel free to give us a call. You can find our number there on our website. We also link to information if you're looking for information on other fires in the region and the area. Those links to the Clackamas County wildfires, resources about community, the evacuation status map are available on their website as well. So with that, thank you and have a good night.